Hello guys, JP Mitchell here, back today for another video. So I want to talk about my journey with autism to recovery, the before footage and the after footage of what it was like to be autistic versus what it was like to come out of that world finally after 4 to 5 years of therapy. And I want to also explain of what is it truly like to have autism within the household dynamic and what is it like to be autistic. So let me start by introducing myself to you parents in Suk and, Port Alberni and Nanaimo. My name is JP Mitchell. I'm 24 years old, almost 25 now. Um, I was born and raised in Suk here. This Suk was basically my autism background because I was a young child diagnosed with autism at the age of 11 years old, which is pretty young. But let's start with my story. So, my journey begins in 2004, 2005, when I was approximately 4 years old. Excuse me. And my story with autism was extremely stressful. Now, what was it like for me to have autism? It was a pain in the ass. It was a real pain in the ass because the the first time that the therapist um, showed up in our house, I had no idea what was going on. But before we got therapists, what we did was that we went to the Ministry of Children and Family Development, and we got me a social worker, we got me the therapist, we got me the diagnosis. That was the pulling part. And the before footage is me requesting, me going through all this therapy and me learning how to walk, how to speak, how to communicate. And the future that was prescribed to us was that I would never speak again or never talk or probably never get to high school. I would never have any meaningful relationships with other people, that I would never, you know, um, that I would most likely would never tell Mitch and Peggy that I love them, nor would they love me. So what we did as the Mitchell family was that we really turned our backs on that and really developed the Autism at Home program, which was the intensive behavioral intervention program that I took. Now, what's really amazing about this is that Liam's story and my story, our stories both connected with each other because we were two little autistic boys, diagnosed with autism, lost in our own worlds, couldn't communicate, couldn't socialize, and both our stories really connected with each other. So, with my character, it was very imminent because I had no kids play. I had no language. I had no communication. I had no social interactions. I could not look someone in the eye. If I looked at someone or if someone in school tried to ask me a question or if a teacher tried to ask me a question, I would just turn away and I would not even look at the teacher. I would not answer any questions because I didn't know how to answer questions. I didn't know what a question was that the teacher was trying to ask me. I would rock in my chair. I would stem back and forth. I would I would run in a certain pattern in the Mitchell house here. I would run back and forth in a restaurant. I would run upstairs in the house here. I could never hold a conversation with anybody. I could not speak. I could not talk. I could not function. I could not normalize in any space, like in a classroom or anywhere. So schooling for me as an autistic child was extremely stressful because I couldn't, you know, I didn't start talking to my EAs until the end of Journey Middle School. So preschool was hard. John Muir Elementary School was hard because I was called a monster by an old elderly lady. I was bullied constantly throughout my childhood, so that was a stressful motive point. But by the end of all that therapy, once it was all done, once the ABA applied behavior analysis was done, not only did I improve, but I learned how to speak to my EAs, and I also went to the Poye Elementary School, and I started reading to the kids, which is something that I could have never have done when I was autistic. So I was starting to learn how to read to kids, how to know what different words were and all that. And this is where my journey into the world of normality started to come around. So all the therapy is done in the after footage, all that therapy is done, all that stuff. And we went to SOCLA, we got the knowledge gap filled up, all those other gaps, like the communication gaps, the language gaps, um, the, the socializations gap, where I would socialize and communicate with other people. I learned how to communicate with the other members of SOCLA. I learned how to buy my own groceries in the grocery store. I learned how to buy my own food, how to get my own ice cream, how to get my own food and all that of what I wanted, what I needed. So at the end of Journey Middle School, I was on my way to recovery. So the after footage is the most critical part because this is where I'm no longer in the world of autism anymore. I'm talking, I'm speaking, I'm interacting with other people, I'm having a conversation with a much, you know, with a younger kid. I'm looking him in the eyes, I'm giving full eye contact with him, or to him, as I might say. And him and I are just talking about, who's your favorite GTA 5 character and all that. And after that conversation was done, him and I just did a knuckle pound. And that was the first initial time that I was able to hold a conversation with anybody because I wouldn't do that when I was autistic because I didn't know how to. And then to top it all off, to make the journey even more awesome, I finished EMCS with 150 grad students. I won the Civic Fine Arts Show. I was no longer autistic when I was 17 years old. I was in grade 11 at the time. And the signs were not there. The characteristics were not there. And then I finished off EMCS in grade 12 with 150 grad students. And to top it all off, at the age of 20, I cleaned up my details by myself without any help. I left my diagnosis in the dust. My eye surgery journey at that point on my eye was complete, and both my journeys were done. So my autism recovery story gets a perfect 10 out of 10 score. I mean, if you look at it, it's really perfect. It's really amazing. The before footage, in the beginning of me being autistic and can't really, I can't really speak or talk or interact. I have no kids play. And then when you look at me after, I have kids play, I have friendships, I'm trying to ask, girls in Edward Milne Community School, EMCS out on dates and stuff. I'm playing with kids more at SOCLA, Soc Options, aka Association for Community Living and all that stuff. I have friendships. I developed peer relationships. I became good like my peers again. That's how my autism is gone. And if you look at me today, I'll walk up to you and I'll have a conversation with you. I'll look you in the eyes. I won't walk away. I won't freak out. I won't temper tantrum. I react to car sounds now. I'm I'm a I'm a normal, functioning, sociable, renowned member of society because that's something that the speech therapist thought I would never become. So for all you, doctors and professionals out there who once said I would never recover from autism, well, guess what? I proved you wrong. I played football when I was younger. I played soccer when I was younger. When I was autistic, I played basketball. The only problem was that if I tried to catch the football or try to kick the soccer ball, I would stand there and not even go after the soccer ball. But that's not what you saw in EMCS, man, aka Edward Milne Community School. I got my first goal in soccer. I got my first touchdown in PE in Mr. Barry's class, aka Mark Barry, and all that. Touchdown! Yeah! I started to play, freeze tag with my friends in my peer group and all that. I played badminton, which is where you hit the little puck over the net and all that stuff. I I learned how to talk back to my EAs and stuff like that. And a lot of my EAs would say, JP Mitchell, you talk too much. And I was like, damn right I talk too much, because a lot of professional people and therapists worked their asses off to get me to allow me to talk and to speak and to interact with people. So damn right I talk a lot, and I'm not going to stop talking because I'm a fully recovered man from autism, for God's sakes. Which, that to me was positively just amazing. So I love my story. I love how it comes to a clean close of how I go from this world of autism where I don't understand anything, I can't talk to anybody, I can't hold a conversation with anybody, I can't socialize, I can't communicate, to the point where I'm talking, I'm speaking, I have friendships, I have peer relationships, I'm able to have a couple of girlfriends or two now if I want to. I'm just living proof that autism is curable and can be cured based on the right treatment, based on the early intensive ABA interventions and all that stuff. So what you parents out there who have children with autism need to do is that you need to get your child tested at Sunny Hill, aka the Children's Hospital in Vancouver. You need to get a social worker for the Ministry of Children and Family Development. But you need to focus more on these other agencies where money is being put into, like CLBC or the Courage Family Center or the Suk Resource Center or SOCLA, or any of these agencies that are willing to help you to help you and your family to receive the therapy, to receive the funding, to receive the treatment that you parents out there desperately need. And the most important thing for you parents out there is to never give up hope. Never give up on your child, no matter how hard it is, no matter how stressful it is. And the most important thing for you parents out there is that if a doctor or your pediatrician tells you that you're crazy by bringing the autism to their attention, don't listen to that. If the doctors say there's nothing you can do, there's no treatment, there's no therapy, when you parents out there get on the internet and you look up a treatment and you look up a therapy and you look up Sunrise, the startup training course, there is something you can do. But I'm not saying that your child will recover. He may and might recover from autism. Autism recovery is possible. It's not guaranteed, but it is possible for your child. Not every child can fully recover. Every single one of them is different. But I believe that the sooner your child is treated with behavioral therapy, the better their chances are at making a full, complete recovery from autism. That's how autism recovery works. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, to all you parents out there, go on my YouTube account at John Patrick, look at some of my videos, see what you think of them, leave a comment, leave a message, and leave an email. Go on my Gmail account at jpmitchell@autismrecovery.com. Send me an email, send me a message, and you parents can ask me any questions, like how I lost my diagnosis, how my symptoms went away, how my diagnosis faded away, how my autism went away, how I completely, fully recovered from autism. Any questions that you parents send me, I will answer them, okay? All right. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's do this. Let's get it on, guys.